Hey everyone, Cynthia here with the Nameless Homestead, and today's video is going to be a little different than usual, as you can probably already tell. We almost lost our dog Sadie last week. Although it might seem a little bit silly to make a whole YouTube video around this to some people, our dogs are really a part of our family, and this is a family homestead vlog, so I felt like it was only appropriate to document the journey after the fact and to give Sadie the highlight that she deserves in this, because this is a big kind of life-changing thing for our family. And then if at the same time this helps another family see the signs of illness like this, then all the better for it. So I'll start with just kind of a preface of the parts I didn't film. On June 30th, on June 29th, the night before really, Sadie started to come down with some sort of digestive upset. Didn't really seem like that big of a deal, just she puked a couple of times and I was like, ooh, that's not nice. She must have, ate too much goat poop or something silly, like got into something like dogs do. So we did the typical over-the-counter sort of relief meds for her and figured we'd see how she was doing in the morning. Well, the next morning came around and she was really lethargic. I was thinking to myself how I probably needed to call a vet, that this was getting to the point where I was starting to get actually concerned that maybe this was something more than just a little 24-hour tummy bug. I let her out to go potty and went to go do my farm chores and get everything ready for the day, and then I was going to probably start making some calls depending on how she felt. It was probably like an hour and a half before I really went, and I was thinking to myself, man, Sadie should have come in from going potty. I'm going to go get her and check on her and see how she's doing and evaluate her. And that's when I found her in the front yard, just laying motionless in the grass, and my heart skipped a beat. When I approached her, she was nearly lifeless. I carried her into the house and she was limp as a rag doll. It was honestly really scary. I went into full triage mode and did everything I could to stabilize her. Her vitals weren't good. Her body temp was down to 97.4. I honestly didn't think that she would make it to a trip to a vet. So the first person I called was my husband for him to rush home to say goodbye to his dog. But I did get her stabilized. I made a warming tent out of a blanket with a hairdryer in the end, as well as putting heating pads all around her to get her as warm in her core as possible, as quickly as possible. I gave her raw honey on her gums to try to get some sugar in her bloodstream, and I drenched her with about 40 milliliters of Pedialyte. I also gave her activated charcoal, which is one of the reasons why I gave her the Pedialyte, was to wash that down, to try to absorb any toxins, because at that time we honestly thought maybe she had been poisoned by something, and then if that was true, any second counted. So once we got her stabilized enough, I started calling vets, and we got to Mount Spokane. And this is kind of where the story begins, where I started actually filming any of this. I wanted to update the followers on Facebook, the people who love her outside of us. I wanted to ask for prayers, and frankly, we needed help. Okay, so I was going to try to make a live and update you guys all as far as Sadie's condition, but I think I'm too emotional for it. I'm probably going to have to edit this 1,000 times so I don't bawl, and this doesn't turn into a 20-minute video, but I want to give you guys the nuts and bolts. Currently, she's at Mount Spokane Veterinary Hospital, and she's in stable condition. We have a soft diagnosis. There needs to be tests run to confirm this, but we think she might have Addisons disease based on the labs that have already been done. If it is Addisons disease, frankly, that's good news. It's manageable. It's not an extremely expensive illness to manage. Apparently this is uncommon, but not rare, and it most commonly happens in female dogs right at Sadie's age, 3 to 4 years old, and it tends to hit like a freight train like this.
So that's what we're currently dealing with. The game plan then would to be putting her on a cortisol medication. If I'm remembering what the veterinarian said, basically her body does not produce enough of the hormones and things that it needs to support her life. And a simple thing, a minor stressor like having digestive upset from eating goat poop or anything normal that dogs do that can stress their system can cause them to crash like this. So it's very lucky that I found her just in time. And she's at the vet and she's stable and she's getting fluids. This veterinarian's office does not offer overnight critical care. So we're currently really deep in doing homework. I'm waiting for calls back. We're probably going to be transferring care. I have some friends who are in the know and in the veterinary business who are helping us with recommendations, treatment plans, helping us to be super smart with our money so that we don't blow all of the funds that we have, and that you guys have helped us raise on unnecessary testing or wrong testing, leaving us empty-handed when we do find out 100% sure what's wrong. That's my biggest worry right now. We need to confirm things and do tests that are fiscally responsible so that we can do everything that we can do to help save Sadie and find out exactly what's wrong with her and get her a treatment plan. Thanks to all of you guys. We have raised so far $340 on PayPal and I think another 50 or 60 on Venmo. That basically covers all of her current vet bills, but they are definitely going to increase. I think I'm going to increase the total goal on PayPal, and if people are willing to donate, that will be dramatically helpful. This is going to allow us to create room in our own finances for when we do our part financially for her, that we can continue to support her medical needs financially as she moves through this crisis. So that's the update on Sadie. I will absolutely update frequently. I will be posting all of her vet bills for the sake of transparency. I don't want anybody to think that we're not responsible pet owners, but this fell out of the sky at the worst possible time. We're currently trying to refinance our house. Like literally this week. So we couldn't even qualify for care credit because we just had that big ding on credit scores and stuff. Oh my gosh, this couldn't have happened at a worse time. Not that there's ever a good time for this thing to happen. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm a complete crazy person right now, and I look like it. I will update you guys again soon. Thank you so much. I'm deeply, deeply grateful for all that you guys are doing for our sweet Sadie girl. And I will be updating with pictures and everything soon, so stay tuned.
By that afternoon, everyone on our Facebook page, on Instagram, everywhere, had seen the post about Sadie's condition and everything that was going on. And everyone just decided to step up to the plate to help us help Sadie. This has been such an incredibly humbling experience. Like I said, we had an, oh gosh, something crazy happened with the dog's credit card, but we did not have that kind of credit card. And we were trying our best to figure it out, but knowing that our community had our backs and were going to do their best to help us help her was such an incredible weight off our shoulders. In that video at the time, I was saying we were at 300, 400 and something. All in all, we raised almost $900 for her care. And that was incredible because her care, because of this crisis that she was in, at the end of the day was about $2,000. So between you amazing people out there in the internet, who says internet friends aren't real, and a really incredible zero interest personal loan a dearly loved friend gave us, we were actually able to fully cover Sadie's treatment. Once we got that sorted and under control, we moved Sadie to a second veterinarian, Chewelah Veterinary, about an hour's drive north, because they would be able to continue to manage her care since Mount Spokane was able to get her in a much more stable condition.
she would have been able to actually make that trip up to Chihuahua. Whereas in the beginning, yeah, she was able to make it to the vet 15 minutes down the road at that point of stability that I was able to get her to. But she wouldn't have survived a trip an hour north. Sweet baby.
Shit out of me, Sadie.
Keep it PG, husband. Oh, sweet baby. She's doing so much better. We're leaving Mount Spokane right now, and we're headed on rockets up to Chihuahua. She wagged her tail and lifted her head when she saw her daddy. I'm sad that I missed that because that was everything. She was cold and almost lifeless when I first brought her in before we got her to Mount Spokane. So while she doesn't still seem like she's doing terribly good comparatively, she's doing a lot better. So thank God for that. By the time we had gotten her to Chihuahua, another interesting symptom had occurred. Her gum line had turned literally fire engine red, like the craziest red. And this apparently, at least in dogs, is a sign of sepsis. At first, we were relieved. We thought perhaps Sadie didn't have Addisons after all. That, of course, opens up the mystery again. But, I mean, at least it wasn't something as lifelong as Addisons. Unfortunately, that's not how it turned out. How it turned out was she was both septic with a digestive infection of some kind, that we still don't know what it actually was, and she has Addisons. So that poor baby was just getting it from both ends, which it makes sense why she crashed so hard. Sadie was in around-the-clock ICU care at Chihuahua Veterinary from the evening of June 30th until the afternoon of July 2nd.
Hi, baby girl. You want some num-nums? Oh, num-num-num. Oh, he's testing it.
By the morning of July 2nd, we got the word from her vet that she was finally going to be able to come home. Sadie had finally started to eat by mouth, which was such a huge milestone because that means she could come off of the IV antibiotics for the sepsis and that she could start her oral prednisone to keep her leveled off, as it's going to be a medication she's going to need every day for the rest of her life to keep her body stable and happy. Yay! We're finally home!
Inside.
So much better! That's a better reaction than I got. She was pretty scared at the office. Aww. Got her little girl back. Not so sad and weak anymore. Sadie! Say thank you for picking me up, Brandy.
I got a kiss in the car, so.
Oh, got your thank you. Did you miss her, Jasper? Is that your girl? You gotta sniff her, make sure she's okay. Jasper, yes! Oh, thirsty girl. Never gonna leave your lap ever again, if given any opportunity. At this point, it probably makes sense for me to describe what Addisons is a little bit. Addisons can be caused by a few things, but at least in Sadie's case, it's very likely a hereditary autoimmune disorder. So not too dissimilar to how people with type 1 diabetes, their pancreas goes out of whack and gives up the ghost, and they can no longer make their own insulin and need supportive medication in order to balance their body's needs. Well, now something similar is going on with Sadie's adrenal glands. They are no longer working as they should, and so her body is not able to regulate her hormones, her cortisol levels, or her electrolytes anymore. So she's unfortunately going to need supportive care in the form of a daily prednisone pill, small amount, thankfully, and a monthly injection. Thankfully, with the support of the amazing staff over at Chihuahua Veterinary, we were able to put together a care plan for Sadie that is going to be sustainable, and she should live a long and healthy, happy life. But we would not have been able to do this without you guys.
So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping us save our sweet little girl.
Are you happy to be home?
Say hi to everybody on Facebook and YouTube and everything.
Say thank you for saving me. I'm finally home. I'm doing good. We're finally home where we belong.
Yes. You see that? Who's that pretty dog? Who's that pretty girl?
Oh, she's so happy to be home. Thank you, everyone.